I'm going to tell you about my learning styles and how I utilized each and every one of them to be effective on my OPV module. Well, while other people are dominant in one learning style, I need a combination of three in order to have an effective lesson and a study session. My learning styles are as follow. One of the three learning styles. One of the three learning styles that I utilize first is the thinking learning style, where I think about a lesson before I even attend that lesson and try to anticipate what that lesson will be about. This works because if the lesson aligns with my predictions, then I never forget what I have learned. And that is if the information content is less than the threshold information that I can absorb from a single lesson. And if it happens that the lesson goes against my predictions, then I'll also pay even more attention because information becomes new and even more interesting. And if the information is below my information absorption threshold, then I never forget what I have learned. Two of three learning styles. The second of my three learning styles that I utilize is visual learning style. This is where I use charts and notes. Mostly I combine this learning style with thinking learning style, where I use my imagination to paint myself a physical imaginary scenario that best describes what I'm learning. This learning style works because when I see graphs, nodes, and diagrams, I get the bigger picture of what is going on and I become able to condense huge information into smaller, simpler diagrams. Three of three learning styles. The last learning style that I use is motive learning. This motive is the learning style of mine that I wish I did not use, but then I use it. That is because if I fail to see the point of learning a theory, then my brain does not release enough dopamine to motivate me into learning that theory because I find it hopeless. But then, however, when I read about a theory, I can see the bigger picture. Then I do not forget about that theory and I even become interested to learn even more about the theory, and hence I end up doing additional research to know more about that specific theory. A tribrid learning style. In this context, tribrid will refer to a combination of my three learning styles as one effective learning style. In further explanation, I first need to know the motive behind the theory that I'm learning and how it can be applied in my everyday life. From there, I read about it and then I read its visual representations or create them myself. And then during random times, lessons, and studying sessions, I think about its implications, its disadvantages, and if I ever encounter something that the theory is giving an idea about, and how I can apply it or how it can be applied in times to come.
Ke busy, o tla bua isikhathi. Ka kwala. Ke busy nose.
During my hard times, these learning styles help me absorb as much information as possible. With this learning style, I was able to pass two of my OPV tests with good marks and compensate for my misfire in one of the three tests, and thus made my overall average mark above 70%. It helped me because I was able to regain the confidence that I lost due to my misfire. Other than that, my learning style prevented more problems, and thus the only tough time that I had was when I misfired in one of the three tests. But then later got a second chance to record that misfire, and for this reason I cannot say I had a challenging learning experience with OPV. And this rendered my learning styles much more effective. When the concept of neurology was introduced in OPV earlier, I thought that, well, I'm not a medicine student or a student studying bachelor's of biology, and hence I do not find the necessity in learning this. I'm simply not cut out for it. But then I learned that you do not need a gift to be able to do something. Hard work and dedication can make you perform better, and thus I applied this mindset and studied the theme that covered neurology with the will to be better. And this made me have a good time on my activity one, where I was creating the brain model and explaining what I know about the brain. Due to this lesson that I learned, I now know that skills for a particular field can be developed over hard work, trial and error, and dedication. Your capabilities are not limited by an IQ test, but then by your own belief and drive. Hence, anyone can develop a particular skill regardless of being born with a talent or not.